What do you think was the best moment for each candidate? What do you think was their highlight of their night? Calvin.
When they began talking about the security of America and what they would do, touching upon the nuclear reality of what's going on in this world, especially with Iran, I felt like Donald Trump excelled there more than anywhere else. I did hear things, what Hillary said, again, being polished as she is. She said some slick things, but she said nothing. Donald Trump used examples and stated names, numbers, and that impressed me. And he showed the emotion that he's that concerned with the nuclear situation that we have in this world, and that impressed me.
I think one of the issues that I found most interesting was speaking on the domestic economy. Trump's plan for America's economy is based off his role as a business person. What America sees of him as a business person is the results of his business, and I think we're looking for the hard numbers. For myself, I'm looking for how much debt does he have? Who does he owe? What kind of income does he have? And the financial statements to the Election Commission doesn't show the numbers I want, or the ones, the depth that I'm looking for. And I think the tax returns will show that. He's stated that he's waiting for the audit to be finished. The moderator, Lester Holt, as well as Hillary Clinton, expressed that the IRS has said that there's no prohibition against releasing his tax returns. All the times that he says that's good business are when it's in favor of him and not in favor of the country. And I think he's relying on the phrase "that's good business" to cover up misdeeds financially.
Okay.
I like when Hillary told him that he tried to slam her in saying that she stayed home. And she said, yes, I did stay home and prepare for the speech, just like I'm preparing to be president. I thought that was a really good moment for her. I think his best moment probably was hitting her back on NAFTA. There's a lot of controversy around NAFTA, and I think he has some ground there, and he did try to take it. So I think that was his best moment.
I guess I feel like the one is like, I wasn't really impressed. I think I'm like you, where I would have liked to have seen the other candidate being able to be up on the stage. And I think one of the things I would have liked to also have seen is both of them be a lot more transparent about different issues. The emails, I mean, even things like her health. I thought the "you've been staying home" might have been a slight allusion to her health recently. And I guess I almost feel like they're both the same. They're two sides of the same coin. He's just the guy version, she's the girl version. I think there was the real gender difference, and he was more aggressive with interrupting her, but she used her body language almost like a woman would, roll her eyes and the smirk and the haughtiness, and of course that's my psychology background coming out, watching their behavior. So I think they were both, that's why I said it was just, just snarky. They both were prime examples to me.
Okay. Anybody else? Anybody can jump in at any time. So.
I think Hillary's best moment was the birther issue. I cannot understand why Donald Trump just doesn't say, I was wrong and I'm sorry, and leave it at that. And that's the end of it. And he's like that on other things, what bothers me. But when it comes to business, it's a no, hands down, Donald Trump. Jobs, us living with bad trade agreements, us not expecting our allies to pay their fair share. He's 100% right. The trade agreement or the treaty with Iran was a disaster, and just not gives them $150 billion to finish their nuclear weapons in about 8 years, I think. So they both had their moments, but it wasn't that interesting, really.
I don't think anybody had a a real good remark, which I think a real good remark will be a lasting remark, and it being an example like when Reagan told Carter, "There you go again." That stayed and stayed and stayed and stayed. Nothing was done like that tonight. Now, another thing, too, is, yes, Trump is a businessman, and this hurts me to say this because I'm a Republican. But you can't tell me that running casinos is like running an automobile company or something like that. What makes you a businessman running casinos? I don't think much.
I think one of the things that struck me the most was how much this was based on image. We've been seeing a lot of them 99% through the filter of the media. Social media, we've seen more memes about both candidates than I've ever seen about anybody else. We've had TV show hosts talk about them. We've had journalists, editorials written about all of them. This was America's first good look at the other side just by themselves. We've seen them in the primaries, but I think this was a chance for them to reestablish themselves as who they are individually and potentially authentically as they operate. Do I think that Hillary's experience in the Senate or as Secretary of State directly translates to a national and international arena? Yes. Do I think that a millionaire, billionaire businessman running for-profit businesses directly translates to the public sector? I don't. But I think that this was a good chance for them to show who they are to a very large audience.
Anybody else? And we can move on. You don't have to answer if you don't have it. Don't feel compelled to answer if you don't have anything you
Well, I would say that Hillary's best moments to me is when she stood up to Trump and she told him that Barack Obama, the president of the United States of America, done a good job. I think that they done a good job, and I think that he tried to slander Barack Obama a whole bunch of times and say different things. And he also talked about Hillary's husband a lot. But Hillary didn't have anything to do with that. Hillary, we were talking about Hillary, and he threw a lot of things up in her face about everybody else, and I think that he should have stuck to the course and stayed to what he was talking about to Hillary. You know, whatever he was talking about, he should have been directing it at Hillary. So which means he should have said something about Hillary instead of saying something about someone else. And I just think that he should have stuck to what he was saying, and he had an excuse for everything. You know, he always was interrupted, like I said, interrupting Hillary. Did they do an awesome job? Like they said, I think Hillary did okay. Could they have done better? Yes. Could they have done better to let us know the things that they was going to do for us? Yes. Could they did a better plan to lay out to let us know what they was going to do for the Americans? Yes. You know, but Hillary did talk about jobs. She talked about health care. She talked about, you know, the money-wise as far as minimum wage. I don't think that they pay us enough far as people working jobs. They just get minimum wage. And if you have a minimum wage job, that don't pay anything. You bring home $400, that don't feed your family. You have people working 2 and 3 jobs just to try to make it, you know. And so I didn't think that they hit that issue. You know, they didn't get that point. I don't think that they touched the Americans on that part. As an African American, I don't think that they touched a lot of issues that hit us. When they talked about the men that was in Tulsa, they got shot. You know, I don't think that they really hit that, because unless you're African American living inside of our life, I don't think that you understand and comprehend the way our life goes, you know. So I think it's a lot of prejudice. I think it's a lot of work to be done. This is just what I feel. I don't trust Trump. And so I don't think that, in my point of view, that he done a good job. He didn't win me over, you know. And so I think that Hillary won me over. I trust her. Did she do some things wrong? Yes. But who haven't? And so I think that she's been in office a lot longer than him. And I think that she's the one that can pull us out. And if we just trust her, we got to trust somebody. So, you know, I'm just telling everybody just to go out. Because if you sit at home and you say, oh, I'm not going to vote for this person, I'm not going to vote for that person, then you don't have a voice. And so I say, get out and vote.
I think one of the things I saw, they were talking about plans. Hillary started to talk about her plans and for the economy and for the racial disparity when talking to the relations between police and the communities. It almost seemed like Trump was saying that, well, if we tell people our plans, that's giving away our secrets. Like, you've published your plans on the internet, now everybody knows about them. And it seems like he's trying to stay more hidden, not tell everybody what he's about, but she's being pretty transparent about it.
I felt like when he said that about her broadcasting her plans, him keeping them secret, I felt that was a cop-out on his part because he doesn't have one. And she did point that out. She said, well, at least I have one. I mean, we haven't heard detailed plans on several different issues, including like how he would defeat ISIS, for example, taxes, economic things. I feel like that was a cop-out on his part to say.